No sé. A ver.
No, yo sé. Corre, por Dios, mandásela.
Dos amigos se van.
No te vayas todavía, no te vayas, por favor, no te vayas todavía. Y hasta la guitarra mía llora cuando dice adiós.
Fabian, Andres Perez.
We'll take a home, Brian.
From Argentina. Buenos Aires is a small city outside Buenos Aires called Campana. This is going to be the beginning of something really huge. I think this is the first steps that we're doing for something really big in our career.
Fabian.
It's no time for relaxing. I think it's time to work more than ever. Yeah, nobody or nothing is autosufficient with only one thing. Everything works with other things around, you know. If you are a good artist, because people choose you as a good artist. People select you as a good artist. Everybody needs something, someone. Because we're not living alone in the world. Nobody's completely free. When you paint, you are everywhere and nowhere, and you are everything and nothing at the same time. Sometimes you stop painting and you leave the brushes, but you're still painting. You're still painting. You know, you still walk and drive or whatever you do, and you're still painting. You never left the studio.
Fabian's like no other artist I've ever known or dealt with. And people really need to meet Fabian because he's extraordinary. And the work's extraordinary, but the work and Fabian are the same.
Whatever my paintings are today is, you know, whatever happened in my past, at least 10 years ago. Years is about the time that you reflect and start to appreciate, especially when you start compare with other experiences in your life.
It's his life, it's his travels, it's his realities, and certainly probably his fantasies. It's his poetry. When Fabian comes to England, it's a phenomenon for them.
Hi, darling. Welcome. Welcome, Robert. Hi, darling. Hello, my darling. You look wonderful.
Thank you.
Si no lo intento
when we arrived, we didn't even know that Fabian was here himself. So the whole thing has just been a complete thrill.
He exhumes his personality and his life in his pictures.
You could see the places if you go back in history, right?
Right.
And you imagine the people who were sitting here, you know, like.
Right.
LAN 本身它也是学艺术的，但是通过今天参观他的这个画儿吧，这个展览，特别是这2幅画对他的震撼，使我对他都有一个新的认识。
That's my first vision that that I remember. I was sitting in my mom's arms, and my father was into a room, which he spent inside that room like 2 years without going out. After I finished the elementary school, like at 12, 13. Everybody was really happy in my house, me, I was growing up. My mother gets sick, really sick, and she passed away.
Y en el alma me ha herido.
It's really tough, when you're 15, 16, it's really, really tough. It's a strong thing in your life, when you're losing someone so close that you have every day in your house. My father also was, really strong, trying not to show me nothing, and that was really nice of him, but he was suffering so much, he couldn't take it, and 3 years after, he killed himself.
Ahí sin nadie me sentí.
When those things happen, it's like, you gotta fight because, you don't have time for anything else. You gotta fight because you don't know what you're gonna do next day.
Entonces en karate la cosa importante es vivir cada momento con la máxima intensidad. De mucho tiempo de repetición y de práctica se logra el vacío de la mente y ya no se piensa, ya no se aprende, sale espontáneamente aquello que interiormente tenemos. Repetirla, repetirla, repetirla.
I've fallen in love with Fabian's work because you can sense the power of the work, but behind it is a sensitivity, is a softness. It's a management of motion and a management of emotion that he's been able to illustrate.
He's so good with the people, and the people respond to him so well. It's almost as if he's become an art star.
Lightning doesn't strike very often in our business. An artist like this comes along once in a lifetime.
I have never seen a response to an artist like this before. Certainly such a new artist. The journey happened already a few years ago at the New York Art Show, and I just saw the reception to his work in New York, and then again in San Diego, in La Jolla, on the West Coast.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
My pleasure, man. Enjoy your paintings.
And then it popped up again in South Africa at people's homes. I saw 1 or 2 of his pieces. I decided right there and then it was time to bring Fabian to Australia. Now I've had the luxury and the privilege of meeting the man behind the art, and it's exactly the same as his art. There's an old school, there's an old soul about him that would translate to an old master, yet it's mixed in with this young, passionate, sensual energy. This is somebody who's completely down to earth, and it's represented again in his art and in his manner. He's a success story. I believe in his work. I like his work. I feel proud to represent the work in my gallery, have it in my environment, in my space.
I remember the day that Robert found Fabian, that he was at lunch, and he called me and said, "Annie, I saw the most amazing artist today."
There was an afternoon that my wife called me up from the office and she said, "Let's go have lunch." We noticed the art that was on the wall, and it was Fabian's work.
They're two old souls that you have the feeling that they've known each other for quite a long time. To think that they've only known each other for 7 years, you know, wow.
We had a lunch and had a discussion about some things the other day, and we we met at 1:30 or 12:30, and we looked down at the clock. It was 5:30, 6 o'clock. I said, "We had the time left."
Robert, bring to my life is like all the quiet time that I need for creation.
That's just amazing. I've had the opportunity and the pleasure to travel with Fabian around the United States and overseas. It's a joy.
I never thought that being a father could be so amazing, really beautiful. She enriched my life so much. She's really completing my life right now. Some people they'll say I don't have a word to say what I feel for her, and I'll say I don't have colors to express what I feel for her. I don't think it's enough. A palette is not enough, and brushes. You can describe that. My style is a little too strong, for a baby face. So I had to be careful what light I use because it can be too dark for her. You are more beautiful than what your daddy can paint. And in your 2 years of life, I wish you a really good birthday. With a lot of love, Daddy. Coperas that which I paint right now, and what I paint is like coperas. They're so classy. It's not like a copera could be anyone. A copera has to be like a smart. They gotta feel what you need to talk about anything.
You can
tell that he comes from a place inside his soul. And that's what comes out in the artwork, I think. And that's why people are drawn to it, because you always want that connection with your soul somehow. Fabian is still so young. What else is he going to create that we haven't seen yet?
One of the things that Fabian's thoughts were last year was to bring his friends that play flamenco music, Calais. They're close friends, and the music is almost like telling the story in some ways as well.
I think for me we've come to a very, very deep friendship that I think is gonna last forever.
Fabian plays a little bit of guitar, and every time we play for him in the shows, he comes to play with us too.
They're close friends, and the music is almost like telling the story in some ways as well.
And you know, I started all the life around the art. I think being with your friends and your families is the most important thing, the most beautiful thing. It's not about how much you have, but with who you enjoy it. Romance to me is like something, it's an ideal of life, I think. In my case, when I mention romance, like I'm waiting for romance to come back, it's waiting for a period to come back. It's like something that I saw when I was younger. You know, I was always thinking about coming back in time and see everything with the same innocence that I was looking at, you know, that period.
Yo pueda respirar.